Hello, good to have you back, Sam. Yes, last week I was joined by Scotty, who I think did a fantastic job, but as we know, Mark Grayson loves a whinge. But it is good to have you back. As you say, we're at COTA, not the full circuit, the national circuit. A bit late because we've had a few technical issues, but everything seems to be good now. He didn't last week. He didn't bottle it. He didn't Lando Norris it like he's just done on that corner there. Max Farrell chased him down. Baskar once again leading the GT3 field. Just want to say in the chat we have a few people joining us. T Shanks, we've seen what you try to do, sneaky. Athel Baskar, one of the drivers, is with us. There is that purple name which I'm not going to murder, which you pronounce perfectly fine, Sam. Ooh.
Oh, I see the issue.
So does it seem like I'm talking to myself here?
It does seem. I'm now. Everyone could hear me. They missed my fabulous intro. I don't know what's going on. We're having many issues tonight. We are watching the remnants of qualifying, as I was saying. We've got a couple guys in chat. Saxini, I think you were saying. I don't know how to pronounce that. We'll go with that.
Yes. Right, let's hope everything is straightforward from now on. If not, we'll blame Stevie Bain. It's his fault.
It usually is, to be fair. It usually is.
But as we say, everyone's going around. Baskar running away with the GT3s. Mistress quite far ahead in the LMP2s, but 7/10, decent gap. Aidan Howard in P5. What is he doing there with an engine intact? That is surprising.
That is surprising, yeah. I've got the overlay working. Max Savchuk here, who's showing us purple in Sector 2, and that's actually purple overall. So this is everything. Oh, loops it around. Yeah. Purple, that would have been including the LMP2s, I think, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, because that was on the mixing. If I push this button, is that going to update to multi-class? I don't know, maybe not.
No clue. It's all broken.
Everything is broken tonight. This button. No. Okay, moving on. We
won't mess about with things because we don't think. And as we've got here, Darren No Wing Wilkes still got his wing on his car. Looks like he's invalidated already, if I'm completely honest. Oh no, first sector is good. It's orange, but at least it's valid.
Yeah, so far. So this is, as I said, overall, so it won't be in-class stuff. So really, you know, he could be a lot closer to Sector 1 where he'd want to be than what it's showing on the screen. But we'll have to just watch and see where he improves. So obviously 20th overall, but obviously is a lot further up the order. I think he's 6th in class as it stands. Purple, Sector 2. So again, the GT3 seem to be quicker through the swiggly Sector 2 there, which might be interesting. Come race time, we've got LMP2s on the track as well. Obviously qualifying is private, so it's just these guys on the circuit at the moment. As they do finish their final laps now.
We've had asked in the chat, why does it say safety car at the top? I assume that's just because there's a yellow flag somewhere.
No, that's because I broke it somewhere else. Let me do this. Honestly, there you go. Honestly, the overlay is, I can't even describe to you how broken it is, but
It's all broke. It's broken, but it's working, so we won't complain.
Yeah, I'm
As we
literally.
watched,
Oh yeah, go on.
and I was just as we watched No Wing Wilkes come round. Yeah, we'll see how this goes.
We will indeed. Is yeah, that's the end of qualifying. We didn't get to see very much of it due to a many number of technical issues, but come race start, we'll be all ready to go. Let's actually have a quick look at the order then, if I can muster that up. Let's have a go at
we
that.
Don't break anything. If the stream does break again, anyone in the Discord, message Stevie Bain, blame him.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So Liam Vress was obviously leading the way, led by followed by Max Farah. Matthias Ockenden lines up on the second row next to Otto Harkonnen. Great result there from Harkonnen, by the way. Obviously in the LMP2 field. Aidan Howard, another great job up to fifth alongside Paul O'Grady. That's going to be a very interesting start. It is unknown. Obviously leads from Matt Hagen and Matthias Giesken. Nearly. In that colourful LMP2 livery there. Ollie Knowles, that shiny silver, kind of McLaren F1-esque back in the day style there, next to Baton for Toy. Row 6, Dan Stevens in your favourite livery, I think, next to Jarrett Page, another colourful one there. And my game has crashed, so excellent work. Oh. Indeed. It's going to be frustrating tonight, I feel.
Yes, this is going to be eventful.
Let's blame Stevie for this as well.
Yep, Stevie Bain, it's your fault. We apologise for some technical issues. We will get the stream back on as quickly as we can.
Indeed. And let's, while we do this, just go to...
I like how the track map's still there.
It's a separate thing, yeah. It's from my own creation. Professional shit. Well, I never said anything like that. Never said a thing like that.
What's Tyler Hammer doing here? We are professional streamers, Tyler. There's just some technical issues. Everything will resume professionally.
Yeah, except now I've got that bug where you can't join the server. Excellent. Oh, well... This may be a very... Oh, I'm loading. Everyone hold your breath.
Everyone get your messages ready to send Stevie Bain.
Yeah.
Oh.
Spin compilation since Bahrain. I don't think so. That was a one and done special. You had to be there to experience that.
Yes, the Ryan Davies spin compilation was a limited edition. And we have cars.
Of sorts, yeah. I'm just waiting for the button to actually allow us to watch the race.
Right, let's not mess around with overlays. That's not new, and we will just pick and choose cars to watch.
Yeah, let's do that, shall we? So I think they're lining up for the start of the race. I say that. Let's get some overlays on.
As you can see from the newest update, which just broke the game, you can see now there is a gap between the LMP2s and the GE3s at the start. I think the LMP2s are going to need it because, as qualifying showed, the GE3s look quicker at points.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to have to go tonight native, if you like. I haven't got any special things. I think that's what's causing it to crash, to be honest. I think it's my app. So we'll just go with what the game's giving us. So they are away. Liam Vress obviously leading on pole. Has a fairly decent start. Leaves Matthias Ockenden and Max Farrell.
Terrible start for Max. Ockenden has the jump on him.
Yeah, you are so right. Though there's a major lock-up there by Max into the first corner. Liam Vress was obviously just lucky to avoid any contact there. Matthias and Max still going side by side. Up comes Otto Harkonnen into the picture as well to join this little battle here.
Everything looks clean. Can't see any issues. It looks like a clean start from everyone.
Yeah.
As we watch Reinhardt and Brayson go around the S's, cut it into now, which is the national part of the circuit, which exits you at the exit of the big main straight from the normal track.
Yeah, possibly. Bear with me briefly. Okay. We've obviously got Athelbascar leading the way, the G3 still. Reinhardt not far behind though, but they're really not far behind the LMP2s either. So actually it might be a case where the LMP2s are actually holding up the GT3s and the twisty stuff, which is, usually we see the hypercars get away at the picture. Darren Wilkes and Nathan Turner having an issue at the back of the field as well as Otto Harkin diving into the pits there, nearly losing the rear on the entry as well onto the brakes, hopefully in time, coming in potentially for a drive-through. Unfortunately, we don't have the information right now. Potentially for a pit stop. I think it looks like a drive-through, to be honest, Dave.
Yes, it does. It looks like he's maybe picked up a rack driving something at the straight. This really isn't good for Harkonnen, because as we see, that looked like Dan Stevens doing a Ryan Davies special.
Yeah, it did indeed. And Jarrett Page also in the wall. It looked like he was on the other side of the, obviously the way the track is. Falling down the order through the GT3 field. Matt Hagen as well behind Athelbascar in that Mustang, and maybe he's going to have a job to do to get back past, actually.
Yes, I think on the straight it will have the legs on the GT3, but there's just got past here, but we're now going into the middle twisty section where the GT3s are just as quick, if not quicker, than the LMP2, so it's going to be interesting when the lead cars catch the back marks of the GT3s and the absolute carnage it's going to cause. Yeah,
certainly indeed. Matthias Chiskin here. Instead of a ton for Toy and Aiden Howard, these LMP2s are swarming all over each other. Here's Paul O'Grady, for instance, on the back of Ollie Knowles for P4 as they get onto the start-finish straight now. Into the slipstream obviously goes Paul O'Grady, sticking with Ollie Knowles. Pulls out to the inside as they head towards the hill. Obviously uphill, you can get on the brakes really hard a bit later than you normally would, as Ollie just cuts the nose of him there briefly. But straight into a hairpin kind of corner. It's a tricky one to judge, really. You don't want to be too far on the inside, obviously. As you see a G3 way off on the track map there. That's Paul Prescott, by the way, into the gravel in literally no man's land.
It is. Paul O'Grady, P5. You're having a nosebleed in a position that high, especially since I hear he's quite small in real life, but he is holding on to the back of Ollie Knowles. I'll tell you what's going to be interesting for this night. When we were doing the practice server in the coaching session, the amount of track cuts people were getting, so I really think we're going to see some penalties.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Dan.
Dan Stevens. Well, Dan Stevens has just recently joined the series. He had a bit of time away from racing. He hasn't jumped in the easiest car to get back into LMU, but you've got to learn somewhere.
No, exactly. Yeah, and everyone has their first race. You have to have a first race before you can go on into other races. So, you can't judge him too harshly. Get up to speed in that obviously LMP2, and I picked a great livery as well for it tonight, and also picked the best series for it to learn. Obviously this is the safe space for newer drivers. Matt Hagen and Dean Smith having a little battle here as they approach the final corner. Matt Hagen flicking to the inside, goes onto the brakes and seems to get the job done, but here comes a cutback from Dean Smith as they get onto the start finish straight. Unbelievable.
Is Dean going to have a Dean issue though, because we know he's prone to them? So the sad thing is, both despite the Dragon liveries are close to the back. Hagen cuts across Dean Smith. Both get a good exit out of the corner, but it looks like Hagen has made the move stick as they're going to the twisty section. Yeah, job done from Matt Hagen.
Stefan Reinhardt also trundling through the pit lane. Another penalty, perhaps from the start, or maybe track limits, as you mentioned earlier. Matthias Ockner, by the way, not far off Max Farrell for P2. Somehow Max obviously still holding on. Jarrett Page recovering from the wall there outside of turn 1.
Oh, such a shame for Jarrett. Jarrett is obviously one of our resident American drivers. You would think he'd feel more home at this track, but he's not having the best time, sadly.
No, it doesn't look like it, at least. Also, Harkonnen battling without Athelbascar. There's no other way to put it. Obviously, LMP2 goes wide, gets onto the grass, grabs the rear there. Luckily, is able to hold onto it, but now finds himself back behind the Mustang. Obviously, until the next lap straight where he tries to whiz on by. But this is the part of the track where it's such a long right-hander. LMP2 obviously LMP2 gets ahead there, but that would have cost him a lot of time that he'd be wanting to chase up to Dan Stevens instead. For Toy as well, and we just see another battle just ahead of these two, which is Spoiler Gradient Ollie Knowles still battling away in the LMP2 field there.
Oh, that was a track cut from Paul O'Grady. As we see Jarrett Page, I'm wondering has he got some damage on that car, because he is absolutely all over the place. Let's have a look. No, look, I wonder if he's just killed the tyres a little bit.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Might be, obviously the LMP... Go on, sorry.
Sorry, Mark Brayson about to go for a move there. Oh, sorry, defend from... oh, no, sorry. Go for a move on Brian Anderson, but defend now from Max Savchuk in the Aston Martin behind. Just need to be, I think, a little bit more braver on the brakes, it looks like, at turn 1. But, you know, the new tyre model is something we haven't mentioned yet, Dave, but new tyre model is really catching some of the GT3 drivers out.
Yes, it is, especially in the Ferrari. I am a Ferrari man through and through, but the 296 is absolutely horrible. But with these new tyres, you can't push it as much as you used to, and once you span off, the tyres are absolutely dead. So the drivers have to be extremely careful, especially because the track temperature tonight is extremely high.
Yeah, it's 46 degrees currently on the track.
Oh, yeah, they have to be very careful, because you can burn your tyres out, and then next thing you know, you're doing what Jarrett Page is doing, because we don't have Ryan Davies with us tonight, so Jarrett Page just took his place.
Exactly, we can hear the tyres as well scrub by this long right-hander. A tricky corner at the best of times, but when you've got a GT3 in your mirror there, we can see the Aston Martin in the virtual mirror at the bottom there. Really is closer and closer to Mark Brayson. Mark Brayson, who seems to have, you know, a decent amount of speed, you know, has the legs on Brian Anderson ahead. Obviously, this is a battle for P2 in class, really. You know, really has some legs, and every time he gets the brakes and attacks Brian Anderson on the inside, just not able to pull off. We see the GT3 in the background, the Aston Martin background. Look briefly for a move on the inside before Mark defends that. If you were Mark's race engineer, always is a major snap of oversteer. We only watched that again from the outside, I think. I was about to say, if you were Mark Bryson's, you know, race engineer, you could say something in his ear. What would you say to him in this position? But let's watch this replay instead.
I would tell him to get a different car is what I would do. But no, he's dipped his wheels on the curb. It's gone. Front of the car looks like it's been on fire, it's broken. Mark Brayson wins that he wasn't on stream enough last week. We caught him at the perfect time. Absolute glorious. Dan Stevens has got up to the back of Dean Smith here in the LMP2 field as well. Approaching the final corner, onto the brakes, and just swoops around the outside goes Dan Stevens, and that's good. That's the best position you want to be, obviously, approaching the start finish straight, because it means you're not compromised. You don't have to, you know, you're not scrubbing off any extra speed or momentum that you need to carry along the start finish straight. And at the sharp end of the field, by the way, Matthias Ockenden on the back of Max Farrell, who, you know, despite those little errors at the beginning of the race, that major lockup into turn 1, for instance, is holding on so far. Max is doing well. He had that big lockup into T1, which nearly come into contact with Leon Rispers, who has ran away with it. But Ockenden is keeping Max Farrell honest. They have a decent gap to Ollie Knowles behind them, so they've got plenty of room to play to have a little battle, but without having to worry about the car behind catching up, as we have another yellow flag somewhere on track.
How bizarre does that Lexus look without a wing, by the way?
It's just like a normal road car, doesn't it?
I know, and I know that's how they're bought, you know, as a road car, but it looks absolutely bizarre and absolutely horrendous to drive there. Obviously, the long left-hander, they've got some LMP2s to let go. Just impossible to drive when you haven't got a wing. At least, well, two things, I suppose. He's closer to the pits, obviously, and at least it's not the full COTA circuit.
Yes, that would be a bit of a long one then. Hopefully Prescott can make his way safely back. He's not that far away. Just give yourself a bit more time to brake, because as you can see how much he's fighting with it.
Yeah, we just get a moment of the glorious Lexus engine notes at least.
Yeah, all good. Safely back to the pits, get some repairs, get going. As we see Jarrett Page doing his best Ryan Davies impression. really not having the best night. They catch some air there, the LMP2 cars, as they go over that little chicane.
Yeah, well, so did the GT3s in the first sector, I've noticed, really flying through the sector there. Look at Mark Grayson, by the way, a proper roadblock for these two cars behind. Really is defending quite well here against the McLaren of Tim Bob, and obviously Nathan Turner as well.
As we see, is this the lead, the P2 and P3 of the LMP2s coming through? This has give Farrell a bit of a breather to Aquadens.
Oops.
Whoop. That's Liam Whisperous. That's Paulo Grady still battling with Ollie Knowles.
Well, Nathan Turner... Sorry, this is Nathan Turner. Slow because he's entering the pits.
Is this the drive-through as well?
Possibly. If I had... Next week we'll know. Next week. I'll do some more bug fixing.
Well, the game does have a patch tomorrow. Hopefully that fixes some of the issues it's been having. But
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed as we watch. Who is it? That is Aidan Howard for Toy and Hagan coming round T1. Aidan Howard went a bit backwards, wasn't he? P4, P5 he qualified. He's now down to P7. Being chased by for Toy. Oop, Dan Stevens not having a good time.
It did actually for Toy there. I'm sure there was a bit of... Oops. We'll go this way like this. There is a fair bit of damage on that front end there as well.
We are looking at Fatoy. He does like wall contact at times.
It's very true.
But he's holding on to the back of Aidan Howard decently, and Matt Hagan is keeping him honest.
Yeah.
Fatoy takes a more direct line through that corner, gets him close to Howard, but not quite close enough to get the move done. Taking a tighter line through this triple right-hander. Oh, as we see, Savchuk, he's done extremely well to keep that out of the wall.
Well, actually, yeah, I think he stole P2 briefly from Brian Anderson. Let's have a look. Obviously, Brian in the Aston Martin. Oh, sorry, Max Savchuk, sorry, in the Aston Martin. Ferrari swoops round. Aston Martin Mansell takes a tight line, gets on the power too, and it's just like Mark Grayson did, I think, a little bit earlier.
Yes, just he managed to keep it off the wall though. It just shows how easy it is to loop these cars around with this new tyre model. I know a lot of the drivers got used to abusing the slip angle. Can't do that no more, otherwise you end up like Mark Grayson and Max Savchuk.
Yeah, exactly, and at least I think the circuit's not too bad in terms of the new tyre model and adjusting to it with the slip angles. There are certainly other circuits which I think caught drivers out a bit more. Stefan Reinhardt, by the way, side by side there with Olaf Bedej, I believe, and actually swapping places, and actually goes very deep. Goes Olaf.
It is very, very wide there. He's getting out of the way of the LMP2. But I know we're talking about this new tyre model, and it's Paul Prescott with a wing this time. I think he's gone into the pits and not changed his tyres. But no, we're speaking of the new tyre model. I personally think it's an improvement. I like the way it drives.
Yeah.
It's just adjusting to it, and as we know, this is the Academy Series. This is for the newer or less experienced drivers, so it will take time to adjust.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Oh, they can't be inside there. Fatoy just missed them. He's got the run on. Not Hagan has passed Fatoy, hasn't he?
Yeah, I passed him in the final sector there. Indeed. So LMP2s, I mean, I can't remember week to week, to be honest. Can they go the entire race without refueling?
Well, this is what caught me and Scotty off guard last week, because we were at Fuji in the wet. Oh, that is Fuskin.
Yeah, just caught up way too quickly. Let's have a little look.
Yeah, we were at Fuji last week in the wet, and I was expecting the LMP2s to have to pit. And I think the top three actually pulled out a strategy where they didn't have to stop. Caught us off guard. I think they will have to stop tonight with it being dry conditions and them putting faster laps in. GT3s, should be able to make it with some fuel saving, as we see Fiona doing her best Jarrett Page impression.
Yeah, no, very good point. It's hotter and it's a bit more. I mean, few G's, a lot of acceleration zones anyway, and long straights. So maybe it's a bit interesting one. Obviously, no vertical energy to manage either. I don't think.
Yeah, it caught us off guard when the LMP2s didn't stop. We were completely shocked by it, but a couple of drivers managed it, and hats off to them.
Yeah, great job. And that's a kind of alternative thinking. Sure, you've gone through 4 races, say, in the series. And you think, okay, every week I fill up with fuel. Good for them to noticing, actually, my fuel usage, I can eke it out a little bit more and then save 30 seconds going through the pit lane, for instance. So, good on you for just not continuing the default.
That's the beauty of it. It's not just about how fast you are, it's about the strategy you take as well. As we see, O'Grady held up a bit by the Aston, I think it was Savchuk or Olaf Badage, but no, it must have been Savchuk then.
Yeah.
Held up O'Grady in his fight with Ollie Knowles. As Aidan Howard coming into contact with Darren Norwing Wilkes looking at it, which is give the place to Fatoy and Hagen.
Yeah.
Howard's dropped down.
So Darren, when the custom liveries come out, by the way, if you're listening, please paint your wing green, so we can green screen it on the OBS, and then you permanently will have no wing.
It'll be beautiful. And in the chat, Scotty is in the chat, and I've just got an Outlook notification. Get rid of you. Scotty reckons it might be possible for the LMP2s to fuel save with it being a technical track, so we could see a no-stop strategy from the LMP2s here if they manage the fuel correctly.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And actually, they may find themselves accidentally fuel saving. We saw earlier on a Lamborghini leading the way through the twisty stuff at the where it's 10.5-ish, 10.3, 10.5, 10.6. Leading the way from a train of LMP2s, and the LMP2 would catch up to that train, have to slow down. We saw a spinner from that earlier, obviously having to get onto the brakes with some steering input, but going through that, you're seeing that, and you're seeing that you can't get past. Maybe it's worth lifting off a bit, coasting through that squiggly section until there's a position where you can get past, exactly, save the fuel, and that way you're not stuck behind the GT3s coming over with nothing through this twisty stuff. But actually, this is an opportunity for me to fuel save, and then when there is room to go, I can get past everyone. It's not like they're losing out on positions because the cars in front are in the same position.
That's exactly it. And to be honest, Scotty is my fountain of LMP2 knowledge because she has a lot more experience with them than me. So if Scotty says it's possible, I believe it. And as we see, O'Grady's still on the back of Ollie Knowles, not giving Ollie a chance to breathe. But he's been on the back for a while now. It's all about, can he get the move done?
Yeah, well, 30 minutes to go. He seems to have done it at turn 1. Ollie Knowles is just behind there. Goes deep at turn 1, does Ollie. Well, maybe we'll have a little look in a replay in a second. But yeah, goes deep. Let's, Paul O'Grady, who isn't attacking and being aggressive, just sticking to his normal racing line, being consistent and just driving on by. Let's have a look.
Ollie went very deep there. I'm assuming maybe a little lock up, just a little late on the brakes. We shall see.
Let's have a look at Ollie this time. So obviously we watched Paul go for it. Yeah, it's very went deep. Maybe having to come off the brakes a bit more to avoid a lockup. Maybe the ABS settings, if they have them, I don't know, are slightly different.
No, they don't. No ABS in these go-karts.
No, but do the drivers not override that if they want to?
There is an assist to have ABS on, but it puts a ballast on the car, so I don't think any of them are using it because we watched Darren Wilkes completely cut half the track there. Got all the drive. It just looks like absolute carnage here.
Yeah, and that's exactly the twisty section I was talking about. You're following an LMP2 car, for instance, and a GT3 car. Nowhere to go because they're going to be straight lining the twisty stuff. So there's no room really. Just use that to your advantage as Paul Prescott recovers from the barrier as well.
We've got a bit of a competition going on here for who can spin the most, don't we?
Seems like it.
Fuskin coming in, he has span. I assume he's going to use his stop maybe. Oh, yeah, Paul Prescott's really not having a good time. I assume when he pits to do repairs, he hasn't changed his tyres. He's definitely going to have to change them because they will resemble Lego blocks.
Yeah, that's true. Next week I'll have a little strategy thing so I can see who's changed their tyres, etc. Paul O'Grady also recovering from a little incident there, still in P4. So actually, has he lost a position to Matthias Ockwood in there? Yes, because he
Yeah, Ockwood is still behind Paul O'Grady overtook Ollie Knowles to get P4.
Oh right, yes.
Ollie Knowles did Ollie pit?
Yes. Just then.
What'll do in a sec. He's dropped right down the field now, so if some of these drivers do go for the no-stop strategy, as we see...
Paul facing the wrong way at the pit entry. I don't know how he's done that. Let's have a little look.
Let's have a watch. Too much curb on the inside. Gone round.
Oof.
Hit the wall. That is a very poorly Lexus.
Yes, and he gets going again now as we go back to the live images and decides to pit, maybe repair the damage, get some new boots. I think that's probably for the best. It's one of those things where you think, I'm way back in the field anyway. If I repair the damage, I would be way off, but if you don't, you're going to be having absolute nightmare for 20 minutes.
He might as well just repair the damage, get some new tyres and use it as a live practice session. As we see, Savchuk not far behind Brian Anderson. This is the battle for P2 in class. Brian Anderson doing extremely well, which is painful to say because I'm looking for any excuse to take the mick out of him, but he's not giving me any ammunition. As
Ollie
we see,
back in the pits.
Oh, what has happened? Ollie was having a strong race and now it's gone a bit pear-shaped for him. Yeah,
you could say that. Otto Harkonnen also going a bit pear-shaped as he's recovering from an incident now around turn 13, I think.
I'm actually surprised because Harkonnen has been so strong this season. He's had a great run of results. He's been fast in qualifying and race. He is clearly allergic to cowboy boots and cowboy hats of Texas. He's not having a good time.
Yeah, it looks that way. Leon Vespers, who is leading still, hasn't had an incident. We see some smoke in the distance there from Jarrett Page, who's now facing our way in a very awkward place.
Yeah, Max Farrell's done well to go on the inside because the McLaren of Darren Wilkes was on the other side. As we see Nathan Turner come in.
But yeah, Liam Vespers, who's still leading without an issue. Last lap and best lap actually, not too far away from Max Farrell's, but still within reach really, as he's slightly obviously now slowed down by the field that he's lapping another GT3 car. Luckily he's on the start-finish straight, he can just drive on by without issue and leave Max Farrell attempting to do the same. There's Max Farrell within viewing distance of Leon, and similarly Leon in viewing distance of Max as they go to turn 1. GT3 Ferrari slightly in the way, but obviously not their fault, just unfortunate timing. That's always an added bonus, isn't it, I think, when you're chasing someone and you can see them. And similarly, when you're being chased, it can go both ways actually. I think it depends on the person whether you get kind of if you can absorb that pressure and use it as a impetus, as a oomph to get you going again, or if it's a scare.
I agree, but Farrell has been terribly held up through that twisty section. Ollie Knowles once again in his shiny car. The sun must be putting him off. Max Farrell still being held up terribly. It's went from 1.5 to Vespers to 4.2 now. That has cost Farrell massively.
Yeah, doubled the gap really to Liam Vespers. Naturally, Matthias Ockwood, here he comes. Here we go. Slips on the inside of the 296. That's one done. That's something that Max took basically a lap to get clear of. Think about it. A lap easily to get past that 296. And that's just the nature, unfortunate time. If you aren't able to get past them on the start-finish straight, but you catch up to them there, you're going to be sticking with them through the twisty stuff through Sector 1. And then again, it's too technical, really, to try and force your way around the outside or dive it on the inside in Sector 3. So it's a really...
It's the beauty of multi-class racing. That's why we love it.
Yeah.
As we see, oNiD's had another incident. Fusgen in P4 chasing Paul O'Grady down. Is this Fatoy on board with here, or is this it? This is Aidan Howard. It's the red car, isn't it?
This is Aidan, yes, but I've also just spotted Olaf Badej in the GT3 Aston Martin. They're heading up towards turn 1 on the back of Tim Bob, down the inside of Tim Bob, onto the brakes, and Tim Bob sweeping around the outside, carrying a bit more momentum. Obviously, he doesn't need to slow down as much being on the normal line, but then again, off Tim Bob goes, able to keep hold of it. I thought he had to spin there for a moment. Able to just stay ahead of Olaf and really putting the pressure on him. Actually is the Aston Martin behind in the mirror. Ollie Knowles, yet again, by the way, Spinfest, hasn't got a 296 set up on that. Oh, and a front end damage as well there from Aidan Howard coming through turn 1.
Aidan, I'll tell you what, is this Ollie Knowles or is this Ryan Davies driving? Ollie giving him a flash because, to be fair to Ollie, he was sat still, he didn't move. He's a very shiny car, it's not too difficult to see him. I think Ollie is now currently
on the warpath, you could say.
Not just on the warpath, but he's been caught live on stream. Basically, he's going to get reported for that before excessive flashing, if we're being honest.
Yeah, I think so. But also, you know, it's not like this is for position. Obviously, that's Aidan Howard lapping Ollie Knowles.
Yeah. Ollie now, he's a man on a mission trying to keep up with Aidan.
Yeah.
But I think Ollie's tyres are probably done again. He was going strong. I'm not sure what's happened. Oh, here we are. The Lexus without a wing.
Oops.
This is at the start of the lap as well, so he's got a long way to go. He's going to hit the brakes, he's going to turn, and there it goes.
Yep.
Yeah, Prescott is not having a great night. I know he put in the chat he was coming into this with no practice. He hasn't really driven the new tyre model. He's learnt the hard way tonight. Ollie Knowles back in the pits in his second home.
Yeah.
Matt Hagan, P6, which is not a bad recovery considering the spin he had at the start of the race. Chasing down Fusgen, there's a bit of traffic between them, but it's a good recovery drive.
Yeah, exactly. Paul Prescott with another issue, by the way, obviously. Just looping around the entire lap without a wing. And there he is in front of Matthias Fusgen there, sorry. Coming through... I think now it's second 3.
Hagan right on the back of Fusgen. If they can both get past the McLaren of Tim Bob, got a bit of a race in our hands. Hagan tighter line through the corners.
Indeed, as they come around the second last corner, but I think Matthias is going to peel off into the pits, indeed. There we go. Oh, locking up to...
What?
I think he was going to the pits, locked up to avoid...
What? Right, he's lost the position of Fatoy now, so he's moving to the left.
I think he's missed the pits. Yep, big time lock up.
Yes.
The thing is in those positions, and this is, it's almost a rookie mistake, this. You're on the brakes a lot. You're on this, you've got a lot of steering input. Neither of those things are going to happen. You have to release the brakes or release the steering.
Yes, that's it. Otherwise, you're just going to understeer almost into the wall. As we see Aidan Howard in his broken front end. We see Paul Prescott has DNF'd in his wingless Lexus. And as we see, Ockwoodon on the back of Max Farrell.
Yeah. Max Farrell is 5 seconds plus away from the lead, Leon Vesperis. This guy's going through turn 1. Fairly simple. Securing it there on the outside, getting out of the way.
Interesting to see the different lines Farrell and Ockenden were taking into that corner. You see that one as well. Ockenden swinging really, really wide. As we see Baskar.
Yeah, leading the GT3s was Baskar. Still has a fair margin, to be fair, from Brian Anderson in P2. But just a bit of an issue there as well.
Ollie Knowles doing what he does best. Baskar could pull over, have a cup of tea and read a book, and I don't think Anderson would still catch him.
No, exactly, yeah. You can pull over, fix the bugs we're facing, and...
give Prescott and Ollie Knowles some driving lessons and still come out ahead of Brian Anderson.
Indeed, yeah. Stefan Reinhardt as well in the GT3 field, and not far off the back of Ben Meyer. I say not far, there's Ben Meyer jumping his weight over those curbs there. It looks like massive amount of airtime from the GT3s across that line they're taking.
It looked cool to watch. Ooh.
Yeah.
I wonder what he was doing there. He's like Paul O'Grady through in his McDonald's liveried LMP2 car. Paul O'Grady's still P3. He's a P4, sorry. He's a long way back from P3, but P4's a good result for Paul.
Yeah, it definitely is. Hopefully he can get to the end. Obviously, he's up 2 places since the start. As Laws has another issue, hence the yellow flag at the top. And we can see in the background as well, in the mirror there, on the Motec mirror there, the LMP2 car just waiting to get on by past Stefan Reinhardt here.
Yep, that's Aidan Howard, I think, in the red car.
Looks like it.
He held up a bit behind the Lamborghini, but as we see Spike the Dragon, so Reinhardt goes wide to let, I'm assuming that's Matt Hagen.
Yep.
Through.
Yep.
As there's a Ferrari right on the back, that is racing. Looks like he's gone for the move on the inside. Reinhardt went a little bit wide.
It's so funny how how quickly that flips around. Stefan Reinhardt, we saw him, we picked him up right on the back of Ben Meyer. Now under attack from Mark Brayson and dropped back 2 seconds. And that's the LMP2's getting by. And sure, you think, oh, it's annoying, I've lost 2 seconds. But that's the ebb and flow of multi-class racing.
Yeah, it's why it's a race within a race. And Mark Brayson's car is a bit battered. Hot Sauce Holman will not be happy with Brayson tonight. He's usually here tuning him on, but he'll just be disgusted by Brayson's performance tonight. I see Savchuk, who was having a strong race, now still P3, to be fair. Ben Meyer still 10 seconds behind. It's nuts because some of the tracks we've feed and the gaps have been small. This tight technical track has produced some of the biggest gaps between people.
Yeah, exactly. It's very interesting. And I think it's just, where people are getting caught out with the traffic. Matches Ockenden caught back up to Max Farrell. We can see him there. That's not LMP2 behind him for position. That's not Paul O'Grady. Paul O'Grady is, I'd say, 40 seconds or so away. But these two will be squabbling all over each other here, looking for a place to get it done. Sticking with him through the tech stuff because there's no room to get it done, so just keep up with your opponent for now, and then maybe get a good launch onto the start-finish straight if you can. But with all this pressure from the LMP2 behind of Mattis Ockenden, I know it's not for position, but in the car, you see another car behind you that close, you're thinking, please don't try and attack me right now. I'm on the verge of P2.
Yes, that's exactly it. As the car, who is the car behind them?
I'd have to guess. Let's have a look. Matthias Fusken. Yes. Fusken
could potentially put a fly in the ointment of this battle. As we see Ockenden
send it,
but they've lost out, and Fusken potentially went through as well.
Oops.
Backmarker making things interesting here.
Yeah, it really is. Now the backmarker is in between this battle as well, so suddenly Matthias has got to get past the 2 cars, and that backmarker looks like he has some pace. Max Farrell going very wide, rejoins the circuit just ahead of Matthias Ockenden. Almost gets taken out by the Mustang that looked like a cruise missile.
That's guy, is it not?
could be. Let's have a look. Oops.
Yeah, Bascar's the only Mustang.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that was chaos very quickly. There's a little replay. Obviously, the LMP2's in the background. This is Athol on the back of lapping GT3 traffic as well. Loses, spins the rear into the wall.
That is
that's something of a rejoin.
He did not resafe jointly. That was not the best thing we've seen, but in the words of Mr. Chow, but did you die?
I'm beginning to think this is a sort of cursed layout, if you'd like, tonight, as we've got some more cars in the pits. That's Jarrett Page.
I think it's fantastic. I love this carnage. It makes it more exciting. As we see Ockwood on Max Farrell again, not leaving him alone. That looks like the McLaren of Tim Bob getting out of the way, letting these two fight. But there is even more traffic ahead, which should make it interesting. There is... which car's that off to the side?
I can't tell you. I can tell you. I think it might be Nathan Turner. I can tell you Liam Vespers, I think, is heading towards the pit lane. And obviously, 13 minutes to go.
That was Liam Vespers who's rejoined in front of them.
No, you're right. You're totally right there. 1 second away and closing from Max Farrell.
He's had an off. Is Leon doing what Leon does best and does his best Lando Norris impression and bottles it?
Or possibly. There is a little thing in my replay log, so we'll have a look at that in a moment after these guys have kind of settled this battle after the start-finish straight. Just trying to see where they are on track. They're coming through the last few corners. Liam Vespers heading towards the final corner. No pit lane for him. Max Farrell obviously following him through nicely. Matthias Ockwood as well. We see Liam Vespers go slightly wide there. It's actually coming through the last corner. Ockwood within a tenth and a half now, going towards the inside. Defends does Max Farrell, giving him as little room as he's allowed to into the braking zone for turn one. Obviously, Liam Vespers able to get a bit more of a gap with these two fighting, and that might be the job done for Matthias Ockwood. Comes alongside just ahead, sweeping around the right-hander now. Obviously, Max Farrell sticking with him through this tricky sector one.
Yeah, Ockwood has got the move done on Max Farrell. Great side-by-side racing. Now can he catch Leon Lando Norris Vespers, as we see Fuskin again not having the best time.
Yeah, let's quickly watch that replay, by the way, of Liam Vespers. We saw him lose, 3-4 seconds maybe. Has a snap, actually, through turn 5, maybe 4, I think.
His tyres will not... bit of a bang on the wall.
Just avoided it.
Some flat spots on the tyres. Thankfully, did a full 360 so he could rejoin. I've got Scrub in the chat asking why Leon has been given him the bottle job name, which Scrub currently occupies in the Discord. What is...
Yeah, Johnny changed that. As soon as I changed it to Lando Scrub Norris, Johnny updated it to bottle job Scrub or something like that.
But Leon is doing his best to take that title away from Scrub.
Yes, Mark Brayson battling Ben Myatt, by the way, in that Lamborghini. Ben, who's using the Aston Martin, but has the Ferrari 296 this time under his rear wing. A very scrapyard ready, I think, 296, judging by the front of it there, as they go through Sector 1, obviously.
It looks a bit broken, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, but able to put some decent pace down, at least.
It'd be interesting because we have some LMP2 traffic coming through. Brayson has ran wide to let them through. Is this the leaders of the LMP2 class coming through? It looks like it. That looks like Vespers couldn't right behind.
It is, yeah. And again, this is where the time's really made. If you can get past this traffic quicker or quicker than your opponents can, that's actually timed gains. Oops, as Max Savchuk and Fiona are driving slowly. Max Savchuk before the final corner and has Leon Vespers obviously approaching.
Is Leon 1.4 seconds ahead, 1.5 now. surely there will be fuel saving somewhat to get to the end of the race. But if you're Leon trying to fuel save and you've got Awkward chasing you, you've got to be careful how much fuel you use. As we see Farrell giving the flash, hoping the traffic will let him pass rather easily, which is exactly what's happened. Racing on the back of Ben. Has he got this move done? Oh no, he's lost it.
But he's taken...
Who was...
Fuskin.
Fuskin had that a good second after this race, has he? There will be a loud boo from the Lincolnshire area of Matt Hot Sauce Holman will be booing Mark Racing, letting him know what he thinks of him. So what's happened? I don't know if there's been contact or he's lost it on the curb.
No, there was contact, yeah. We'll leave that one up to the stewards, I think, but there definitely was contact.
Ben just cruising along in his Lamborghini. We've got Fatoy on the... Tell you what, Harkonnen, P6 isn't doing bad considering the issues he's had. He's got Fatoy chasing him down now. See if he can get a move done. He's got 8 minutes left. Fatoy has had a pretty solid race. It's usually him doing the spins, but he's... I don't mean to curse him. He's going alright at the moment.
Indeed, yeah. Let's have a quick look at the drivers who have stopped so far then, by the way. Fuskin in the LMP2, Phil, obviously Howard as well, but not many stops. Maybe we'll see them all kind of work it out in these final minutes, you know, whether or not they can do it. I mean, it's been battles galore so far, to be fair, so I'm not surprised that they haven't wanted to go to the pits.
I wonder if some might do a splash and dash, some might have fuel saved correctly. We'll find out in the next 7 minutes. As for Toy, clears the traffic of Savchuk, still chasing Otto Harkonnen down. Oh, very close. Commentator's curse there.
Indeed.
Brian Anderson. What's...
I thought he was driving slowly, but maybe he's just letting these cars go.
It's Brian Anderson, he always drives slowly. It's just how he drives. Who's this? Max Farrell.
Yep.
That is a big gap to Awkward now. Has Max had an issue?
I can't see that he has. Just this traffic, I think. Awkward, by the way. Gap has disappeared. Sorry, the gap has grown to Max Farrell, but it's disappeared to Leon Vesperis here for the lead of the race. Heading up towards turn 1. Had a lapped car, but luckily able both these guys to get past them into
Leon.
turn 1.
No, both going well. 6 minutes left, 6/10 of a gap. Who's going to finish it? P1?
Do you know what? I think something has happened to Max Farrell. I mean, last lap, 1 minute 30.5. Mattis Awkward and Leon Vesperis. Well, Mattis Awkward at 25.9. That's 4 seconds different to Max. And Leon 26.2.
I'm assuming Max has just been doing Max things.
Maximum Farrell.
Yeah, well, minimum Farrell.
Minimum Farrell. Maximum carnage. Max Savchuk, though, slowly crawling backwards after
lost
issue.
the position at Ryan. Stefan Reinhardt, P3. That's a podium. That is a great result. Ben Meyer just going past 2.
Yeah, here comes Mark Bryson as well. We can see on the track map the difference there. Max Savchuk has gotten underway now, though, unfortunately, for Mark. But it's still bearing down on him, it seems. And evening,
to be fair,
Ben.
Mark should be going well considering he's only got half a front end, so he has saved a bit of weight here.
Yeah, let's hope he doesn't get disqualified for being underweight or having a flexi wing or anything like that as a Ferrari.
See, yeah, no bolter fell out the back of it.
Yeah. Oh dear, Max Savchuk. Again, another issue. But that's the thing, you know, the tyres, you spin once, it makes it even easier to do again.
Oh, I thought you might have knocked his wing off there. Oh, not bad. He's sat still. As we see, speaking of no wings, Darren Wilk.
Yeah.
Kept it on this race.
Darren,
miracles do happen.
Wingless, yeah. Matt Hagan, by the way, just behind the back there, getting past Paul O'Grady. No, not quite, not yet. But there is Athol Baskar in the mix there, quite literally, between these two LMP2 cars, which are battling 4.4 here.
Baskar, despite... Oh, Harkonnen has gone off behind. Which gives P6 to Fatoy. I tell you what's interesting as well. Dan Stevens in P8, despite seeing him backwards a bunch of times, he's put in a bit of a decent recovery drive.
Yeah. Dan Stevens, who hasn't been in the pits at all this race, unlike Ollie Knowles. Care to guess how many times it's saying on my screen that Ollie Knowles had a pit stop?
It must be 4.
It literally is 4, yeah.
Oh, what? Ollie, he was going so well. But he had more spins or pit stops?
That's a very good question. I fear spins. As Matt Hagan, speaking of spins, here he is.
Oh, there is some carnage there. Was that between Hagan and Fatoy?
Yeah, looks like it. We've also got Max Farrell and Mattis Ockwood. I think these guys... Okay, no, I don't... Ignore me.
No, I've got Ockwood on the back of Leon. Leon has led this race from the start by a decent gap at times, but you get to the end of the race and it's less than half a second. Well, no, it's gone.
For most of the race, it's been about 2 seconds. He peaked at, I think, 5 point something seconds. But, it's unusual as well that, the leaders remain so close together. But, I think you're right with this circuit. It's quite short, really. It's really technical for the most part. As we see a BMW there of Nathan Turner off into the gravel. Really technical for the most part. So, you're behind traffic for a lot of it, really.
It is, and now we've seen Ockwood catch up, but can he get the move done is the question. Oh, we see Jarrett Page's DNF2 after... Ockwood's coming to the pits?
Yes. Well, I didn't want to say this, but I think Max Farrell also is going to the pits. Max and Mattis on my screen requested a stop this lap, so very interesting there. It's going to be a battle of who can do the better stop. Baton Fatoy also showing has requested a pit stop. And we'll keep an eye. I do have the pit stop times. So, for instance, also Harkonnen stopped for... Matthias Fuskin stopped for 15.3 seconds. So that's probably what we're going to be looking at, I think, in terms of just topping up the fuel. Take that way back.
That was a very quick stop.
Indeed, 5.7 seconds stopped was Mattis Ockwood. He has. Max Farrell, by the way, 3 kph or almost 4 kph slower than Mattis Ockwood at his fastest point. So maybe he's just using less fuel.
Yeah, maybe a bit of lifting and coasting. We obviously know Rispus has done that. It'd be interesting to see if anyone runs out of fuel before the finish line. But let's be honest, Leon has such a big gap now, even if he is running low on fuel, he can just lift off and coast round. As we see, Fiona and Aidan Howard.
So this is... Interestingly, so they're 10th and 11th. Oh, no, it says for position. Sorry, they're not. This isn't blue flag stuff. Position? It is for position, yeah.
When between blue flags, we do have a Ferrari in the way, causing some carnage. But Fiona will clear. Aidan lurking in the background, seeing if he can spot an opportunity. As we see Mark Brayson taking out the DHL board. It's been a night to forget for Mark. It's what he gets for whinging in Discord all week.
Yeah, and Max Farrell, another lap, 18 seconds to go. This will be the final lap. So maybe able to go to the end and maybe then overcome, was it Mattis Ockwood who stops?
Yeah.
Maybe, overtake him that way instead.
Ockwood was 7 seconds behind and now he's only 3.
Well, if Max has to lift and coast, that will explain that.
You do wonder. Yeah, look, it's 2.9, 2.6, 2.3, 1.9.
Yeah, I don't have the onboard overlay data working, so we can't see if he's lifting much, but we can hear if he's lifting. It certainly sounds like he's lifting and coasting.
Ockwood is about to make the pass.
He's gone past.
There he goes. As we see,
Still
Not in-
stopped there.
Yeah. I'm wondering, is Farrell basically on the fumes of his tank, just trying to get finished?
Yeah, I mean, Paul O'Grady, who's fourth and next behind Max, is 27 seconds away. Dan Stevens also having an issue there in the final corner. So, he's got a bit of a ways to go unless he completely runs out of fuel. He's not at risk of losing P3, at least. Lots of drivers, though, haven't stopped this race, so it's not just Max. Obviously, we've got Liam Vespers, who's leading the way. Paul O'Grady hasn't stopped. Hagen hasn't stopped. Fatoy hasn't. There's so many drivers throughout the field and TT3 field that haven't stopped.
Where is Leon? He should be coming around to finish, shouldn't he? Oh no, he's going through the S's, my bad.
Either that or he's just disappeared.
Says he's in the pit. Has he finished?
I think he might have finished. As someone was saying earlier, professional streamers, we
Yes.
keep track of everything.
I see Paul O'Grady come. Yeah, Ockwoodon's in the pit as well, so I assume he's finished. Max Farrell 2. Paul O'Grady will take P4. Strong performance from Paul. Matt Hagen will come across the line in P5, see him in the background with Fatoy in 6. Then there's a bit of a gap. Parkin in 7th, Dan Stevens 8th, Fusgen 9th, Aidan Howard 10th, Fiona Zombie in 11th, and Dean Smith in 12th. You want to go for the GT3s?
Yeah, obviously we've got Athabasca, who led the way from the beginning pretty much, and obviously he's remained there since pole. Brian Anderson, P2, Stefan Reinhardt, P3, Ben Myatt in his new Lambo, P4, Darren Wilkes with the wing, made it to the end, P5. We watched Mark Brazen here cross the line in P6. Max Sabchuk, obviously P7. Tim Bob in the McLaren, P8. Olaf Badej, who we saw a fair bit tonight of, P9. Nathan Turner in the BMW, coming around the final corner now, P10. And obviously Paul Prescott, I think, who DNF'd, unfortunately, along with Jarrett Page, who had a technical issue with his steering wheel, unfortunately.
Yeah. Speaking of that, we have Brian Anderson in the chat saying he had no force feedback for the whole race. I'm wondering if it was stolen like his cars have been. That would kind of explain it. But still a great position considering he had no force feedback. P2 was a strong result. Yeah. Stefan Reinhardt as well. Reinhardt, however it's pronounced, I apologise. P3. Some good results here for some of the drivers.
Yeah, it definitely is. There we go. We can see his car in the garage there. Really good result. Obviously, Liam Vespers.
Almost bottled it. He almost took Scrub's title, but Scrub still holds on to it.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, this is a series, so there are points for your position at the end of the race, which means if I can do this in time. There we go. So we've obviously got the points. This is from last week. So obviously this doesn't include tonight. That's the wrong person's, isn't it?
I think that's the wrong championship, Sam.
That's my bad. I did update this. I just didn't update it on OBS. There we go.
There we are.
Liam Vespers, who obviously won tonight, leads the championship in class, 126 points. Otto Harkonnen, obviously, who is in second so far, obviously finished a little bit further than yours tonight, down in P7, I think. So probably will be losing P2 to Max Farrell, who finished P3 tonight. We saw Matthias Okudin will be getting a bunch of points, obviously finishing second, and Ben Laura as well. I don't think the gaps are too great, but there certainly is going to be some degree of jeopardy, I think, throughout the remainder of the series. Athabasca will obviously lead the way. Tim Bob, who's done a great job so far, it seems, 97 points so far in the series. Slightly poorer result tonight. Will maybe
Brian Anderson will jump up a bit, though.
Yes, of course. Brian Anderson, who's finished second tonight.
Matt Brayson didn't have a good race, as we've seen. Brendan Rooney has been abducted by aliens, so...
That's the thing. And obviously Ben Rooney's gone as well. So obviously with Mark Brayson finishing sixth, sure, really it's not much points, but Tim Bob finished behind him. Ben and Brendan Rooney are nowhere to be seen, as you say. So he's still holding on to P4 at least, and maybe even moving up.
It's a great result from Brian Anderson. great to see him do well because he has had some issues this season. As said, I would love to take the mick out of him, but he hasn't given me any ammunition tonight. I can nothing but praise him.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, thank you for everyone for joining us. I know we had some issues at the beginning of the stream.
But yeah, hopefully be sorted for next week when we are at drumroll Sebring, staying in America.
Oh, exciting. Is it wet as well, or am I looking at the wrong series?
It is dry around Sebring.
It is, yeah, dry.
It is 16 degrees, dry, and it is a morning race. Sebring, obviously the world's bumpiest racetrack. Brian Anderson will hope his force feedback has returned for it.
Yeah, certainly will be. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Fiona in chat, why do you make us suffer?
What fun would being an admin be if you didn't make it tricky for people?
Yeah.
No, we say that. It's not suffering. We in the academy we try to simulate some slightly tougher conditions because the goal of the academy is to get people into the bigger owned leagues to race with the more experienced people. So we have to throw a little bit of adversity at you. Yeah,
exactly. And it's a good kind of place to develop. There's no point doing the same circuit every week, the easiest circuit every week, because you're not going to learn. You have to get slightly outside your comfort zone. A lot of people tonight as well, obviously, well, not tonight, sorry, but in the Discord, obviously, with the COTA circuit, obviously preferring the normal layout to the national circuit. I get it. I mean, it's one of those things. I think until you race it, you can kind of judge it a bit more. I think, but it looked fun. I'd like to drive this layout. I don't know about you, Dave, but it looked really fun.
I think this race produced some of the most dramatic racing. At least there was some great racing. I don't think there was anyone who was immune to having a spin. Darren Wilkes has just messaged me asking if he can lose the nickname. No, he will still be Darren No Wing Wilkes forever. But no, this layout of COTA, to be honest, it's even more exciting than the full one.
Yeah, I think so. I really think so. Definitely. Yeah. But interesting. Again, a mix of strategies as well tonight, obviously with the LMP2s. Sure, you can go all the way, but, Max Farrell, for instance, who lost out to Aquident there, who had to stop. But a lot of the other drivers didn't, and yet still, didn't look obviously like they were lifting and coasting massively in the final few laps there. So maybe, on the right track, but not quite nailing it. But still a great result, obviously, from Farrell tonight. But yeah, we'll see more next week. That's for sure. And as I said, next week as well, we'll have a lot less users, hopefully, with the patch tomorrow for the game. And I'll also update my little app so we can see things like fuel and virtual energy and the tires and stuff like that, which would be really cool.
A lot more stuff, but yeah, hopefully the game will be fixed by then.
Yeah.
Hopefully we have people join us again. We hope you've enjoyed watching the stream. It's been some fun racing. And do you want to close us out, Sam?
Yeah, obviously, thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you for the banter and chat. Thank you for listening. Thank you for rating with us. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Good night, everybody.
Au revoir.